What's up, superstars? Back with another video. You got Superstar Rob and you got Superstar Nation. How you guys doing? Oh man, guys, if you haven't already, do not forget, become a superstar, smash the subscribe button, join the Superstar fam, hit the bell notification button to get every single video every single day. Also, guys, Superstar VIPs, $2.99 a month, get the star beside your name, get access to our spreadsheets. We'll do advertisements for you, and you can always reach out to us on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. Make sure you go in the description below and join our Discord, where we have amazing Superstar Nation having great, amazing discussions, and obviously very respectful at all times. Thank you to our VIPs. You guys keep us going. You are amazing. Look at this. Guys, 3 pages of VIPs. You guys are so supportive. We can't thank you enough. All right, our news very quickly. We got Picasso here. He has a new draw, Bat Buns. If you're interested in this stuff, make sure you give him some support. It's on OpenSea with his classic Joker and his teardrop Mickey, as I call it, style. So Picasso's a good friend of ours. Give him some support if you can. Also, Veve, you got Thanos. We have the comic drop coming up with the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet on April 26th. So very cool cover art. We have a new drop, Big Hero 6, coming on Veve on April the 28th, which is very cool. Great IP. I haven't seen the full movie myself. I'm very familiar with it, though. It is a very fun and popular film for definitely for younger kids. So check that out if you're interested. And then we have the Rabbids AR competition. So if you're joining that competition, good luck to you. And then lastly, the Alien poster. Again, posters are not my thing, but if you're into it, you can go for it, and maybe you can fill your Weverse walls with something, because my walls are just going to be white forever. All right. So today, I want to talk a little bit about the Omi token. So our good friend, Mr. Puddin Cheeks, he runs the spreadsheet. He shows us Omi burns. And I got thinking, I'm like, well, how much are we really burning Omi? Like, if I want to make some kind of projection on how significant the OUP is going to be to Omi burn, I want to put some numbers and some data to this. Like, is the OUP going to really make that much of a difference? So I took a look at the numbers here, and you can tell from April 24th, if you go to the total Omi burns, we'll go from, this is 90 billion here, okay? If you scroll down to January the 1st, it's like 81 billion. So we've pretty much burnt 10 billion Omi in just 4 months, right? So at that pace, I would therefore expect that by the end of the year, we will have burned a total of 110 billion Omi. So you burned about 30 billion in a year. And that's pretty interesting if you think about it, because the OUP doesn't exist. There are no other ways of burning Omi other than primary and secondary fees. It gives you a lot to think about when it comes to the Omi token. So I decided to put some numbers to it. I mean, this is a spreadsheet I've been working on, but it's not really fully developed yet. Just the way that it works is that there's just so much unknown about burning. I just gave it a burn rate. So 1%, 2%, 3%, 4% per year. Because I don't know. It's very hard to quantify where I land there. So I made myself a matrix just to kind of make some deductions and some kind of, correlations. And then I have the years here from 2022 to 2050. And I'm trying to predict, if it's 1% per year, where do we land? If it's 5% per year, where do we land? I know it's kind of hard to see. I can zoom in a little bit here, and maybe you can see a bit better. But the numbers don't really matter. The point is you have these different numbers of burn rates. And in order to do the simulation, you got to have a standard deviation. I don't know if you guys have ever done a stock market model, but if you've ever have a model for your stock market and you back test it, you get a CAGR, which is your average compounded annual rate of return. And then usually you have a standard deviation. So even if you expect 7% per year, if your standard deviation is 10, then you're ranging on average from like 17 down to -3. It doesn't quite work that way, but that's how the average standard deviation works. And you can create a model that simulates that standard deviation randomly, right? If you have a distribution curve, you can kind of randomly walk along your standard deviation. It's called the random walk theory. So I did that with the Omi token just to see where it kind of lands, right? And how it would be in each year. And it's really big. It is really big pie in the sky stuff. Like, you got to remember, like, this stuff's pie in the sky. When I did this, I had a total burn of 80 billion. So I did this back at the end of December when I made this. And now I check back, and after 4 months, it's 10 billion. So I can actually kind of figure out where we landed here, because when I did this, I had 272 billion circulating supply. We know we're at a rate of burning 30 billion in a year. So from 272 minus 30, that would bring us to 242. So the closest that gets us is actually over here. 11%, right? That's 30 billion, right? Assuming we follow the same pace, we're burning at an average rate of 11% per year. And if you continue that down to 2050, you end up in 2050 with 10 billion Omi tokens. I mean, obviously a lot can change, but as long as you continue with an average burn rate over that period of time with my assumed standard deviation, you end up at 10 billion Omi token left over in 2050. Pretty good. I think a lot of you Omi followers will be very happy about that. But at the same time, nothing's guaranteed. And 10 billion is still a lot of, it's still a lot of tokens, 10 billion tokens. That's a lot of tokens. Will the demand of the user base, I tell you right now, the user base that we have right now, I think it'll make a very marginal difference on the burn. 10 billion is still an insane amount of tokens. So I don't think with the current user base that would matter. So if Veve doesn't grow, it's all for nothing, right? But maybe it'll be a little bit more fun to think a little bit more short term. Let's say 2027. That's a lot of people's, they like to say, okay, a 5-year game plan, right? So in 5 years, we should expect maybe from 272 billion, we will go down to 152 billion tokens. It's just not enough to say anything that in 5 years, the Omi token will be $1 or $10. There's just too many tokens. And then here's another big one. A lot of people talk about a 10-year token, right? At a current burn rate at 10 years, at 10-year rate at 11, you're at 84 billion. Still, it's just way too much to make an assertion that the Omi token will be worth any meaningful amount in the equivalent USD. So where does the OUP come into play? And this is the thing. OUP is going to bring in all sorts of different avenues to burn Omi. You have fast tracking your staking tiers, which I personally believe people will actually use right away because of the benefits they're going to get from it. So that one, there's a good one on day one. You have withdrawal penalties from early on staking, which I think at first probably won't do much, but as more Omi utility is given in the Veveverse and is given in the app, you might start seeing people pulling out early thinking they made a mistake and need Omi for other things. But I think at first it won't be that significant. You have bronze tickets, which I think are just like, okay, you probably are going to get a lot more daily Omi burns with the bronze tickets, people buying bronze tickets to use them on drops they want. And then you have OUP, like peer-to-peer buyer and seller. So any fees from buying and selling with Omi back-to-back will end up in the reserve wallet. And then you have Omi to gem. Any Omis that are used to buy gems will end up in the reserve wallet, which will eventually be burned. So you're going to be bringing in all these different avenue streams. Oh, yeah, and there's also a percentage of crypto to pay out that will end up there too, but that's besides the point. You have all these different avenue streams, okay? And then the Veve app will then give you even more incentive when they come out with accessories. They come up with maybe there's also the silver and the gold tickets. There's going to be Omi to NFT. These things are going to have fees that will help accelerate the burn and will be in your face in the app. So I think the OUP will increase the amount of money spent per day, which will ultimately lead to more burns. But quantifying that, guys, is just so hard to do that I honestly can't even try. I'm just going to throw a dart. I think that with all this happening, I believe that we might see from an 11% rate, we might actually see double or more. It is possible that we will see double or more. And if it does, say it does double, let's say from 11%, it goes to 21%. Our 10-year rate ends up being 25 billion instead of 84 billion. So it's not enough, to be honest with you, right? Like in 10 years from now, if you have a $25 billion total supply of Omi tokens, it's an amazing drop in Omi tokens. But I'm just not convinced with the demand that we may see. Like unless the demand is through the roof, it still won't be enough, I think, to do a $1 Omi token. But anyways, today's not going to be a price prediction. Today is going to be an Omi burning prediction. So with the OUP, what I think from what I'm seeing is that we probably will have no less than 25 billion. And this is just, I'm putting my neck on the line, doing a guess. I think that it's possible that we will see an average burn rate of at least 20 billion. We're going to see double the burn that we're getting right now with only one avenue stream. And we're going to end up with potentially up to a 25 billion number of Omi tokens in 10 years. What that means for prices, it's almost impossible. I need your help. Let me know below. What do you guys think? I've made this matrix. Do you think that these are reasonable assumptions? Do you think that 21% burn rate is reasonable for this? Like, is it gonna work? Or do you think that I've underestimated it and that with the OUP we're gonna see 50%, 30% burns per year. Like, what is it? It's just so hard to tell, because at 21%, you actually end up with only 370 million at the end of 2050. And that is where we start seriously talking about some real potential when you get into the millions. So it's not an easy thing to do, guys. I made this spreadsheet. Like, what do you guys think about the spreadsheet? It was just fun that I had with it. Try to put some numbers to it. You know, we hear talk a lot about Omi being burned, and I think that probably from a high level, the main message here is that don't underestimate the OUP. The OUP is gonna have burns in ways that probably we are not anticipating, or we're gonna see it exponentially burn in a way that we've never seen before when all these new avenue streams come out. Now, that does hinge on the fact that Veve has to continue to do well. They gotta continue to retain the people that are currently on the app right now, and we also have to. They also have to bring in the Veveverse and bring in new ways to burn your Omi. So we will remain to be seen. Guys, if you haven't already, don't forget, come Superstar, smash subscribe, and join the Superstar family. Hit the bell notification button to get every single video, every single day. And also Superstar VIP, $2.99 a month. Get star beside your name, get access to our spreadsheets, our giveaways. Guys, thank you all so much. We appreciate your support. Take care, and we'll see you next time.